grab yourself a cup of coffee, tea, liquor, water, soda, whatever it is that you drink, and buckle up, because I'm about to tell you about the time me and my husband went to Mexico and I made the dumbest decision of my entire life. My husband and I graduated together. We got our MBAs. We actually walked the stage together. Little backstory. It was really cute, like couple goals. After our graduation, we decided we were going to go ahead and take a vacation to Mexico to celebrate, because getting your MBA is like a humongous deal. We went on vacation to Mexico for a week with no kids, which is a really big deal. If you know, you know. You are not responsible for anybody else but yourself. Like, there's no changing diapers. There's no getting meals ready for anybody. All you get to do is just take care of yourself and have a blast, which is exactly what we did for a week straight. A week with no kids. What a dream. What a dream. But we stayed in Los Cabos, which is about 30 minutes outside of Cabo San Lucas, which is what most people are familiar with. And we stayed in this beautiful all-inclusive resort, like right on the ocean. We went horseback riding. We went on a booze cruise, snorkeling excursion. So fun. I got completely wasted and swam around with the fish in the water. It was a blast. I know all sounds good, right? Like, and it was. Everything was amazing. It was amazing. I even participated in a beer chugging contest out by the pool with a bunch of college kids. I won. I'm very competitive as a person, and I'm very proud of that. Like, that was a real accomplishment for me, because I don't really drink that much, honestly. Like, I mostly just drink coffee and water. And don't get it twisted, though. When me and my friends do go out, we get crazy. But I am like Cinderella. When the clock strikes 12, I'm already home and in bed. Like, I don't really like to stay out really late. Anyways, I'm tracking. Let me tell y'all about how I ruined the very last day of our beautiful, perfect vacation. On the last day that we were in Mexico, DJ and I decided we were going to go ahead and finally go over to Cabo San Lucas, because we hadn't actually been there yet. They have shuttles that'll pick you up from the hotel and drive you all the way over to Cabo San Lucas, which, like I said, was about 30 minutes away. So we get in the car, or the shuttle, and the driver is like erratically driving. This man was hopping curbs. Me and DJ was sitting in the shuttle. Somebody in the back had a baby, and they just like, they literally passed the baby up through the shuttle to the passenger front seat, which was a complete stranger, by the way. Like, the person in the passenger seat did not know whose baby that was, but they were just like, here you go, because the baby was crying. And so they just passed the baby around the shuttle. And me and DJ are like, why isn't that baby in a car seat? Like, it was an infant. So we get to Cabo San Lucas, and it is really early in the morning. Say it was like 9:30. It's breakfast time. Like, we should be having something to eat, drinking some coffee. But when we get off the shuttle, I needed to go pee really bad. So we walked into this little restaurant. I used the restroom, and when I come back, there's this man standing there, and he was like, hey, he's holding a camera. Do you want to get one shot for $9? And he's standing next to this pulley contraption, right? Where they like hoist you up by your ankles and dangle you like a fish. One shot for $9? Yes, I would like to. Like, thank you very much. I'm a photographer, right? So I'm like, that sounds great. And he's like, or you can get 3 shots for $18. And I'm like, why would I need 3 photos for 18? No, that's fine. I'll just get 1 for 9. Like, I only need 1 picture of this. DJ's looking at me and he's like, oh my God, you're so crazy. You're really gonna do that? And I was like, of course I am. Like, what do you mean? We're in Mexico. I love to do all the really like random, wild, crazy experiences, all the fun stuff. Like, of course, what do you mean? Aren't you gonna do it? And he was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Laura, it's 9:30 in the morning and I'm over here. I'm like, why wouldn't you? Who cares if it's 9:30 in the morning? Why wouldn't you want to get a picture taken? Doesn't matter. So this man straps me up by my ankles, dangles me upside down, and he's like, are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. This is highly uncomfortable. He's like, okay, 1, 2, 3. And I start smiling, right? I'm getting ready for my photo. All of a sudden, another guy comes up to me and puts a bottle of liquor in my mouth. Excuse me? I hate the taste of liquor, so I'm over here gagging. I'm like, what is happening right now? And DJ is standing next to me. He's laughing hysterically because he knew. And I didn't realize. I thought like 1 shot, holding a camera, right? Like, it makes sense. 1 shot, 1 photo for $9. Well, that is not what they meant. So he sticks a liquor bottle in my mouth and starts pouring shot in my mouth. And he grabs my face and he's swishing it around. And I'm upside down. And I'm like, I'm looking at DJ. I'm like, give me down right now. Give me down right now. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like it. After that, right? So I'm like, oh, wow. I guess we're just going to have a wild and crazy day. It's going to be one of those days. We're just going to have fun already. So we're walking around Cabo San Lucas. And now at this point, I already had a shot. So I'm just drinking, right? Like, why not? I already started. And it's our last day in vacation. So I might as well, right? I guess. So DJ and I get a pedicure where we have a little fish, eat the dead eat the dead skin off our feet, which was exhilarating. It was weird. If you have not ever done it, I would suggest trying it. Like it is very cool. And yeah, my feet are very ticklish though. So it was like, ooh. After that, DJ and I are walking around, we're going shopping and stuff, and we go to this one restaurant. I don't remember the name of the restaurant. A really famous one. It has like a frog in front of it. I don't know. Anyway, so we sit down and we're having some drinks and eating some lunch and like having a great time, right? And then afterwards, we're walking around in that area. It's a very touristy area of Cabo San Lucas. And I'm like, why are there so many pharmacies? Like, there's a pharmacy, I swear to God, on like every single corner. I'm looking around and I'm like, this is so wild, because the signs in the windows of the pharmacy is not like regular over-the-counter medication, like, oh, get some ibuprofen, get some Tylenol, you know, blah. These pharmacies were blasting like, come get this Tramadol, come get this Xanax. I'm like, this is so crazy. Like, what a concept. Like, this is not something you can do in the United States. So I look at DJ as we're walking past one of the pharmacies and I'm like, we're gonna buy drugs in Mexico today. And he looks at me, he's like, Laura, why would we? We don't do drugs. And I was like, I know we don't, but hear me out. We should do it just to say that we did. Just because we can, we should. And he was like, that makes no sense. And I was like, it does make sense. It's the experience. We are here for an experience and we are gonna get an experience. So we walk into the pharmacy. I walk up to the counter and I'm like, hey there, what are y'all selling? I'm so awkward because like, I feel like a little kid because like I don't do drugs, right? So I'm like, ooh. And the guy at the counter, he looks at me and he's like, well, what do you want? And I was like, I don't know, like, ooh, I don't know. You know, we have Tramadol, we have some Xanax, we have like painkillers and stuff. And I was like, well, I've taken those before because I've gotten like my wisdom teeth taken out. So, because I don't want to get anything that I've never tried before because like I said, I don't actually do drugs. So he gives me one hydrocodone and I was like, okay. And we leave the pharmacy and I'm like, while we were here on vacation, we really just bought drugs in Mexico. We really just did that. We really just bought drugs in Mexico. And DJ's like, yeah, Laura, we did. Like, and I was like, so, you don't think that's crazy? I think it's crazy. I think that's wild. What a wild concept. You can just walk in and get one? Like, what? We leave. We go back to the hotel and we get up to the room and DJ is really exhausted because obviously we've been walking around shopping and drinking and stuff all day. So he's like, hey, I'm going to take a nap so that he is rested before we go to this really nice dinner that we had plans for. We had reservations at the hotel and him and I were really looking forward to it. So we had like a few hours to wait until our dinner reservation. So he was going to take a nap and I was like, okay. I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, I'm not really tired. Like, I'm just going to sit here and like hang out and like, you know, on my phone or whatever, or watch TV. And then I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to take it, but I'm scared. So I'm only going to take half. So he looks at me and he's like, Laura, I don't really think that's a good idea. And I was like, yeah, no, you are 100% right, but full send it, buddy. So I take like less than half because I was scared. I was nervous. I was like, oh. Looking back, it was so dumb. Like, why did I think that it was cool to not only buy, but also to like, take in Mexico? I am so stupid. So anyway, so DJ is taking a nap and I'm, you know, sitting next to him in like a chair and I pull out the old phone and I'm Googling and I'm like looking up the medication that I just took and I'm looking at the label on it and I'm like, what is this? So I start Googling, right? One of the very first articles that pops up is this article on Prince. If you're not familiar with him, it's my husband's favorite artist, but he actually died from a drug overdose because he actually purchased medication from Mexico that actually had the same markings as the medication that I had purchased in Mexico, and it actually was laced with fentanyl, and he overdosed and he died. As soon as I see that, I'm near hyperventilating. I'm like, I start having the worst panic anxiety attack of my entire life. I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Like, I can't believe I just took that. I can like hardly breathe. I'm panicking so much. But DJ's sleeping next to me and I'm trying to be quiet. So I'm like, okay, this is what I gotta do. This is what I gotta do. I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta like get this out of my system. I'm just gonna go throw it up. I'm gonna go throw it up. So I go to the bathroom and I am trying to throw this up, but I'm trying to do it quietly because DJ is sleeping. I'm not trying to wake him up because he is tired. You know, I'm considerate. I am in the bathroom, like trying to puke as quietly as possible. But by the way, I couldn't actually puke because I was panicking so much and I'm like trying everything I can to puke, and nothing is coming up. And DJ's a really light sleeper, so eventually he comes into the bathroom and he looks at me and he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I looked up this article and I think medication that I took might be laced and I think I'm gonna die of an overdose and I'm really scared and I'm just trying to throw it up. As calm as possible, he looks at me and he's like, honey, I hate to break it to you, but that medication that you took has well since dissolved. You took that like a half an hour ago. You're perfectly fine. You're not gonna die. Like, calm down. Everything's gonna be fine. I'm like, no, like, what if I overdose and I have to go to the hospital while I'm here in Mexico and I don't make it? My kids are gonna grow up without a mother because I'm a fucking idiot. I'm like leaned over the toilet, still kind of looking at him, and I'm like, no, like, I'm so stupid. I shouldn't have done that. Like, I should have listened to you. That was such a stupid idea. I'm crying. I'm like, it was such a stupid idea. Like, I'm so fucking stupid. And he's like, Laura, everything is gonna be okay. Calm down, you know? Oh my God, relax. Hours go by. If there were anything in it, it would have long since, you know, me. But I wasn't thinking clearly. I'm still just like panicking, right? TJ and I get ready to go to our very fancy dinner that we were looking forward to, but I'm still in a state of horrifying anxiety. By the way, I have vasovagal syncope, which for me is triggered by extreme bouts of anxiety. So basically, my blood pressure like severely drops and rises again. So I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling good. We go to dinner. And we're sitting there and we are in this beautiful restaurant with just this amazing food and everything smells so good. And DJ, he orders his meal and I order mine and he's sitting there and he looks so handsome and he's so excited to eat. And I look at him and I was like, I am near fainting because my vasovagal syncope, right? So I'm like sharp spikes of like blood pressure rising and dropping and stuff. And I look at him and I was like, I really need to go lay down. I'm really not feeling good. And he was like, Laura, are you? It's been hours. You're fine, sweetie. Like, it's okay. Take a deep breath. You're fine. Like, relax. And I was like, no, like, I really don't feel good. I think something's wrong. I'm so stupid. And he was like, come on, babe. Get it together. It's our last night. Like, come on. I really want to eat. Like, come on, babe. So I leave the restaurant. I go back up to the hotel room. And DJ, like, I was like, stay here. I just need to go. It's fine. Like, please stay here and get your food. He just gets his food to go. And then he comes back up to the hotel room. I order room service myself. I watch a movie. And eventually, like, of course, I feel better because there's nothing actually wrong with me. Besides the fact that I'm just a fucking idiot. So that whole afternoon, whole evening, and basically into the early morning, I ruined the very last night of the very best vacation that we have ever taken in our entire life because I thought it would be quite the experience to just go ahead and buy drugs while we were in Mexico. And then I took it a step further and decided I was going to go ahead and actually take it. So if you're ever vacationing in Mexico and you pass the pharmacies, because you will see them. I want you to think about me. I want you to picture my face and I want you to go ahead and keep on walking past them, okay? If you ever have any inkling that that's something you want to do, don't do it. Don't do it. I hope there's a little voice in your head that says, don't do it, you complete dumbass. Don't do it. It's not worth it because it's not a good time. It's not a good time, okay? You're going to ruin your vacation. Well, this has been fun. Thanks for listening to this story time where I definitely shared with you one of the dumbest things I've ever done in my entire life. I think. No. Well, until next time, y'all stay beautiful. Love you.